Welcome to Lost Art. We are the oldest running skate shop in Liverpool. So we've been doing this for 25 years. This is the first time we've ever had any spoken word artists on or anything like that. So yeah, let's get started. First we've got Keith's brother from Manchester. If everyone would like to give him a round of applause, please.
Good evening, my name's Mark, and I'm Keith's brother. And a couple of years ago, I went to a funeral of a friend of mine who was close to me when I was in my teens. And what struck me that day was that his best mate wasn't there. And these two were inseparable when I knew him. And I spoke to this lad a few days later and I said, how come you never went to John's funeral? And it turns out that there was people there he didn't want to see, he had to avoid it, he had his reasons. And it almost struck me that it was almost as sad as the funeral itself, the fact that this lad couldn't say goodbye to him. So I wrote what I think his goodbye will be. It's called the 197. Good turnout for Johnny today. It's every time the phone rings these days. Either someone's pegged it or a 50th in Dubai. All the old faces were there. Filling the boots on lasagna or the potato pie. Then there was that comment in the queue. So when's it your funeral then? Playing the Charlie Big Balls, wasn't it? With his buy-to-let and his Balenciaga trainers. You see the hole in your sleeve, the grey in your teeth, the whites of your eyes turn yellow like an autumn leaf. Yeah, soon I hope. When's yours? Showing right up that did. They all know how far they can go and know who was there when it really mattered. Like at Tottenham away in '86. When you took it to them in their own backyard. 100 of them, maybe more, steaming through the station doors. Fagan's gang in the North London sun. Young, fearless, scared of no one. You couldn't stick around if there's booze about. Johnny wouldn't have minded you sneaking out. That photo on his coffin, the Lacoste shirt and the button-down collar, and that smile, like he always knew something you didn't. A smile, a mile wide. He dropped off the radar for years. Got trapped in the cycle, heroin, jail, back on it, then jail. Needed the routine, you see. You like those same faces coming and going. Then out of the blue, he was back. After stuff. A bed for the night, then the week, then the month. Not that he ever slept. He'd be up cutting his hair at 3 in the morning. And cutting himself like a microsurgeon. Careful, calm and precise. And you'd talk at Tottenham away in '86. When you took it to them in their own backyard. 100 of them, maybe more. Your little firm all out in force. Fagan's gang in the North London sun. Young, fearless, scared of no one. You're even scared of getting a bus home now. It's like a committee meeting in your head trying to work out where your stop is. Yeah, Leverton please mate. And you remember your bus pass. And the driver analyses at arm's length, making you wait and wait. Does he not know you've just buried your mate? Thanks, you say, and you remember. No one really cares about Tottenham away. Not on the 197, they don't. You couldn't stick around with this booze about. Not on these meds. The first 2 weeks are the worst, he said. Keep taking them, he said. And you've not had a blackout since you woke up face down in the bus lane on Hyde Road, when you told everyone you'd been knocked down, but you'd stopped off on the way to your mum's just for a couple in the afternoon. Must have been hit and run, he said. One of those electric bikes. Or maybe a moped. Now you're on the 197 back down Stockport Road to the room you're calling home, with the stench of emulsion that never goes away in that shared fridge with a combination lock and that packet of Jaffa cakes with your name scrawled across. You used to dream about the drink. Now it's the sound of birds falling from the perch. And it's deafening. And the one who fell and never hit the ground. No one ever knows why they do it. But you've got a pretty good idea. So you'll say goodbye in that time-honoured way as the ache in your heart succumbs, and drink to your pal with a mile-wide smile, and if that moped comes, then it comes. So here's to Tottenham away in '86. And that flash of silver in the evening sun, the splash of red on the curb, when the roar went up and the police horse slipped. Down Seven Sisters Road, you and Johnny, you never budged an inch. It's just the one. Once you get off this bus. Cheers, thank you. I started writing about 12 years ago, and it was purely by accident. And what happened was a friend of mine passed away quite suddenly, another one, not many of us left. And what happened was his twin brother asked me, he said, will you write something for our kid? And I think he only asked me because he caught me reading the Observer magazine one time. So by default I was sort of like Stephen King of our friends. So I wrote something and it was, people liked it, said nice stuff about it. And it was quite a big deal, it got published in a fanzine as well. But a consequence of that was people associated my writings with funerals and people dying. So I get phone calls like saying, oh, Auntie Sheila's died, you know, write something. So I became this like gun for hire for funerals and eulogies, except I didn't get paid for them. And it even got to the point where my friend Dean one day rang me and he said, well, I've just had some bad news. He said, Stuart's died. I said, oh, that's really sad, mate, sorry to hear. I said, who's Stuart? And he said, it's a lad who lives near us. Are you going to write something for him? So I went on to explain it on as many levels as I could why it was an absolutely ridiculous idea. Not the least that I'd never clapped eyes on a lad before in my life. But I still ended up that afternoon, sat on a couch in a flat in Gorton with Stuart's mum, writing stuff what she was going to say at her son's funeral. So I'm going to dedicate this to the man who was instrumental in my writing journey, who coincidentally I've never ever clapped eyes on in my life, so this is for Stuart. So he might be down there, he was quite a colourful character. I'll just go. Too careful what you wish for, always ahead of the curve. Expert in the ancient art of giving a wide berth. A coward dies 1,000 deaths was one you'd always say. Swerving the raindrops and live to fight another day. You were one of life's watchers, Danny, always writing stuff down. Too clever to ever get involved, too scared you get found out. On the sidelines, making mental notes, so research you'd say. A coming of age drama that never seen the light of day. He was even writing a script. Called it The Alcoholic's Fear of an Empty Fridge. An HBO box set sat on your Google Drive. There was the one about the leg tattoo, you'd explain it like a film. Starts off with a bedroom shot, an ironing pile on an ironing board, 2 pairs of crumpled jeans on the floor, a cup of Aldi's breakfast tea next to matching bedside lamps. She wakes and says, "You're my cup of tea." You say, "You're mine too." That ends up a calf tattoo, a cup of steam in the shape of a heart, one of those if you know type things. I'm guessing that's why you started wearing shorts. And that portrait on your left thigh turns out one Ian Curtis, after all it was your nan. Didn't even know she died. But we could have crossed the Rubicon, see the Northern Lights, could help Ellen by a striding edge, but could never find the time. We could have called it research, pair of actors in a script, but down there for Dancing Danny, those wings were always clipped. You stood at the back for the Hacienda Classical gig, just staring into your phone. Said you was checking your credit score, and deep down where love lives was the encore. By then, you were long gone. You met on the corner of Hilton Street in one of those summer downpours. The party bike at Barnsley Hens was singing "Road for Luck." Clint heard his guitar, the Carney Dunes rolled in the sun. Pete explained to his Uber driver how not to run a club. She said it was a dad's jumper, one of those fisherman's friend type things. Snow White in Doc Martin boots, could see in the dark with those brown eyes. Probably still can now. Either milkshakes and misread signs, or umbrellas and unbroken hearts, another chapter that never seen the light. No midnight trains to Houston, no signals to Ostend, no Mondays in recovery swearing we'd never do it again. There's a BAFTA-winning sitcom waiting to be told, but no one knew the ending, was I'd be telling it alone. So we'll make it up the hard way, going by a striding edge. In the crosswind of the summer rain, we'll lay it down to rest. We're gonna call it research, no one needed to pretend. We're down there for Dancing Danny, we kept him guessing till the end. Cheers, thank you. Ta. That was a saying my dad used to say. He used to say, "Down there for dancing, up there for thinking." And he'd say it to try and let you know that he knew best, or when he'd done something what he thought was good, like finding his keys or working out how to do defrost on the microwave or something. He'd say, "Down there for dancing, son." That's it. So, thanks for having us tonight. What an amazing venue. Thanks so much for coming out. Thanks to PJ for the invite to come over. I'm going to do my last piece now, and I've got a mate who used to have a saying, and instead of saying goodbye or good luck or see you later, he used to say easy on the bends. I always thought he was a bit of a dick for saying it, to be honest. I thought, you think you are trying to get a catchphrase or something? What are you doing? But when other people heard it, they'd go, "Oh, that's quite profound. What does it mean?" It means a lot, but it don't mean anything. So I wrote something based on that. So this is the last piece. Thanks for having us tonight, everyone. Don't dwell, cause you can't unring that bell. Easy on the bends, my friend. Go easy on the bends. And how many leaving dues did you really need with your WhatsApp group to rally the troops? You always did enjoy that sort of stuff. There was Moretti rounds and laugh out louds, heroic hugs and brilliant teeth.
There was a time we'd walk it home from town, now you're getting Ubers to the end of the street. The special handshakes, the taps on the nose, the new best mates bonding over a disabled toilet lid. I know it's hard saying no after 3 pints, and a refusal's not the act of a friend. Even when he don't know you that well, you've got the same Montclair jacket as you. And you had to tell him about when you nicked my jeans and I walked home in wet trunks. Did you fill him in what happened with Louise and how it was going on for a year before I found out? You've never looked at me the same way since. The lad who phoned in sick the day George Michael died. Same one who bought perfume for that girl at the massage parlour on Oldham Road. CK1. Never breathed a word about that. And yeah, I'm doing okay, thanks. It's not like you've died, and no, it's not the other side of the world, but I can't make it to the Algarve because my passport ran out in 2005. But you don't need to know that. There was a time we'd walk it home from town and talk of lads in vans, away match plans and a Grange Hill top 3. That night we had the purple homes, sat waiting for those lights to turn green. Only us two knew what that meant. Cause you get me, and I always got you. And I wanted to walk it home, but you was getting an Uber. Didn't think there was enough room. So we don't dwell, cause you can't unring that bell. Easy on the bends, my friend. Go easy on the bends. Messaging Louise again last night. She'd asked you a few times, but you wanted to know if Lucas got his birthday card. The 8-year-old boy with the voice of a 70-year-old man. She tells everyone it's genetic, but he spends far too much time with his granddad. She said we're only 2 bad decisions away from losing everything we have. It was a Paul Simon lyric she always used when she was trying to give advice. You said you get me, and I always got you. She didn't seem to mind. Said Lucas will text you when he gets the time. And what are you gonna do when your boyfriend moves away? You said it's not like he's died. He left a few years ago. You just didn't know it till last night. So we don't dwell, cause you can't unring that bell. Easy on the bends, my friend. Go easy on the bends. Thanks a lot, everyone. Cheers, thank you.
Is angry. We see chimneys belching out smoke. We see cars belching out smoke. We see people belching. And who's responsible for all this pollution? We are.
Hello. Hello. Is everyone feeling refreshed? Everyone got a drink? Yeah? All sound? So, Roy has requested that we watch this short film before he performs, so that's what we're going to do. I hope everybody enjoys, okay? Please welcome. Sorry, go on, guys. Please welcome to the stage, Roy. So we're going to do a little bit of an interview first. For those that don't know Roy, when was your first book released? Was it?
4 or 5 years ago, and it was released by accident. I know everyone says that, Mark said that, but didn't have any intention of writing a book. And I think when you start with, if I'd have wanted to, it wouldn't have happened, basically. Just do it because you like it and see what happens, and fucking mix with people who do similar things. And we only got one mic. Yeah.
Yeah, we are an old skate shop, but we're very DIY, as you can tell. Yeah. When we first planned this gig, I asked PJ what questions he didn't want to answer, or what he did want to answer exactly. And he said, "I am sick of the working class questions," wasn't it? So I've written a working class question, obviously. Every time someone with an accent starts tasting a little bit of success, we hear a lot of to-do about their working class roots. How important do you think class is in art?
It's not that I'm sick of the question. I just don't want to keep fucking going on about it. Because when I go to London and do stuff, and they go, "Oh, you're from a rough estate," I'm like, I'm not. I'm not from Walton. It might, I don't know, like when you live there and you grow up there, it's not rough. It doesn't feel like, when I grew up and look back, I went, fucking hell, yeah. But I don't feel like I've had a rough childhood or anything. It's just a street with people like you in it, and they're all sound, but weirdly, right, the only issue I've had with it is other working class people trying to put me down. That's it. Like, like when you're from an area like that, creativity is a bit odd. And if you're not like solely just like white, straight, into football and fighting, if you have any other interests apart from them, you're a fucking weirdo. But I was alright, like they just see me as their pet little weirdo. And I'm fed up with people. Oh fucking hell, I can really go on one here, but I won't. Just always wearing it as like a badge. I'm so working class, me. I had dog food and fucking for me dinner. Like, no one's asked, no one cares. It's never been a bar to me. In fact, I've used it the other way. When I know that these fucking like weird, especially people who are about to fund me, I fucking ham it up for them and pimp myself out. Someone got stabbed in our school, like, in the eye. Give them the money, give them the money, give them the grant.
A lot of your work, it surrounds the themes of like addiction and struggle and all that kind of stuff. You're quite honest in all your interviews about how you struggled with with addiction, and I was wondering, what I'd like to ask you is plenty of people out there, go on their go through their lives, never making it out of that cycle.
what do you think for you helped you get out of that cycle?
Get comfortable. No, I'll answer that in a minute, but see the film? I watched that, I watched it when I was in addiction actually. It didn't dawn on me at the time, but that is exactly how I lived my life. I chance my arm a bit, and I get away with it. And I think, I'll fucking chance it a bit more, and I get away with it. Until I'm just fucking left in a little safe, stuck. Thinking, but wondering, how come I'm stuck? Why am I stuck in here? What the fuck's happened here? And I absolutely love, not writing about addicts, but I love writing about people who don't change. I think they're fascinating characters to write about, and if you, in a more of a lighter way, like when you look at any sitcom, Del Boy, fucking Homer Simpson even, Peep Show, those characters don't change. They make you think they're gonna, oh, he's met someone, it's gonna go well, he's come into money, and he just ends up in the fucking safe like he did. And I just find it very interesting subjects to write about. But back to the question, what helped me get out of it? Fucking hell, other people. Not doing things for me, but just, addiction's a very lonely place, even when you've got loads of mates and or you've got loads of people you know. So isolation and disconnection are the problem, and it seems obvious that fucking connection and belonging are the answer. And it's just done with people. Whatever you learn, whatever books you read, whatever fucking therapy you go to, all those things help, yoga and all, they're all great things. But if you just sit in the house on your own, you've got nowhere to implement the learnings of them. And I just thought, fuck this. When I got clean, I thought, fuck this. I'm gonna fucking live as much as I can. And as much as I can at that point was getting a bike and a £30 digital camera and asking people, did they want a game of footy? And so people would go yeah, sounds, yeah, what pitch? I go, no pitch, just me and you over there with a ball. What? I'm 48. I know, but mate, if I sit on my own, I'm probably gonna die. What the fuck's this cat on about? But to answer the question, it's just whatever the fucking problem is, man, connection and belonging are the answer. Whatever the problem is, I just don't think anything gets solved. Go ahead, yeah. Regardless of what it is, fucking anxiety. And the mad thing is, those two things, because when I heard, that's the answer, I thought, yeah, but they're the two things I don't want to do. Exactly. That's why it's fucking hard. Can I just recover sitting here eating pizzas and watching the telly? Unfortunately, no. So it was just having a fucking go at things. Didn't really matter what the thing was. I just wanted to I wanted to live, basically. So yeah, that answer your question? That's right.
There's a story in Algorithm Party in particular. We do have some copies as well for sale if you'd like to purchase one. Yeah, there's a story in that particularly. It's called Paintball's Coming Home, and it's between this young lad and this well-to-do kind of businessman. In your stories, I always find that the people who are the most down and out always have the most to say. They're always kind of they kind of buzzing off all the music they like or the club that they've got. How do you celebrate your achievements? Is that, say when your book came out and it sold really well, what was your go-to thing that you did to celebrate?
I didn't really. It wasn't really a thing. It was during lockdown and I was selling books at my gate. People were driving to my gate, giving me a book, and I'd give them a book, they give me a tenner. But I think what happened was it just opened doors really, because this is one thing I've noticed, go back to the working class thing. So sometimes I think this is a class thing, and and I've found out this more because my missus worked in a school with mostly middle class kids, and he was so fucking confident, it was unbelievable, bordering on fucking arrogance, the little bastards. But working class kids aren't. I wasn't. I was frightened and sometimes I needed permission. And when that book came out, some people I really, really respect and like said, "That's good, that." And up until then, I didn't really think it was, and I went, fucking Jimmy McGovern likes my book, you fucking messing, fucking cunt. So I thought, I'm alright at this. That's how I celebrated it, started to believe, I can do this. And then started to think, I'd fucking love to write for telly one day. Yeah, but I don't know how that's gonna work. And then started getting offers and commissions and stuff, and I think I've gone completely the other way now. It's just like, fucking, yeah. Any job that gets cut, yeah, go on, I'll do it. I'm fucking proper Yozzy Yuski, yeah. I'll do it. It's a job. I'm into write a film, sound, do the sequel next week. Yeah. So I think that I haven't had a celebration as such, but just that shift in my head of, this is for me, this. I always thought I was excluded. It's not for you, you haven't been to uni, you don't know how to format anything, and I got a nice surprise when I did start to work with a telly company, and they said to me, "You're the opposite of what we normally get here, and we get people who are well schooled, they've done all the courses, they know how to format a script." They went, you can't even fucking type, but we know you can write a story, so just write it on a beer mat if you want, we'll sort that for you." So, and I started to think, it is just about the ideas, and fuck me, I've got loads of them, yeah. That was a celebration.
Do one more question, or would you like to get stuck into your stories? Let's get stuck in, okay. Without further ado, this is Roy.
So this is one old story that I have to read for you to get the gist of the next two that are going to be in the new book. So most of you will know this, and if you haven't, as Geff said, they're for sale. It's called Press to Release, and when I was in my early 20s, I used to go out with this girl, and I didn't even like her, and she didn't even like me. And then she went on a reality TV show, and she got pretty far in it, and she ended up on telly and in newspapers and all that, so I was fucking surplus to requirements. And her dad was a bit of a fucking head, and he just went, "Listen, you, off your pop." And he gave me some money to fuck off, so I did. And then, but he also said, "Don't be writing about her in your little stories and that." But what are you gonna do? This is called Press to Release. The smoggy grey Tuesday afternoon has remained dry, which is more than can be said for Melissa. The aftermath of last night's escapades are shadowing her as she struggles to evade the brown puddles of leftovers from yesterday's mini storm. Her off-white Converse pumps somehow managing to maintain their pristine condition. Given the choice, she'd much rather be sat off inside, curled up with the heating on full blast. Her copy and pasted face begrudgingly agreeing that the reality of her drunken self is just an illusion. Whiling the hours away in a state of 1986ness, swinging the lead and staying off school, gazing out the window and drinking chicken cuppa soups, her mum blasting like a virgin on the big fuck-off silver Amstrad stereo before her husband gets home and fucks everything up again. Not today though, Melissa needs a drink. She doesn't particularly want one, it's just gotta be done. The impulsive trip to the offie for 3 bottles of Echo Falls and 40 Richmond Super Kings has been transformed into quite the expedition. There's been a pit stop at the Lord Warden on London Road. Melissa feels secure in here. They know her from the area, but she doesn't think any of them know about her telly stuff or her past life, which suits her fine. No one's asked anyway. Not a single soul has bothered to ask or even wonder why such an attractive, young, stylish woman is choosing to rot off in there on a semi-regular basis. She's pleasing on the eye, smells spectacular, and doesn't usually crack on with her antics until they've all got off. Daytime drinking is for professionals, and they don't want to be around when the amateurs appear and start acting up. Plus, she gets the ale in now and again. Not really out of kindness or goodness, it's more of a craving for acceptance, a plea for them to like her, a call for love. Jim, I'll have a Peroni, please. Only got Carlin on draft, girl. I'll have a bottle of Beck's then, but put some lime in it. Wine is for house drinking, lager is for pub drinking, and vodka's for club drinking. Melissa's on this. She dumps her handbag on the bar and rummages through it. Jim gets asked to keep an eye on it while she clutches her purse and breaks into a jog over the road to the mini market. A gaggle of Turkish lads are engaged in a heated dispute outside the barber's. It's one of those barbers with the A4 headshots all over the interior walls. Fellas with intricate hairstyles. Hairstyles no fucker has ever asked for. The heated debate has paused for a moment as the wacky haircutted lads check Melissa's arse out. She's aware, but tries to blend by lashing the hood of her Moncler coat right over her head. One of the Turks, who's got elasticated ankles on his jeans, stares right into Melissa's eyes as she exits the shop and tears the cellophane wrapper of the box of ciggies. She doesn't like this, it's invasive. So she pulls her hood further over her face and scrambles around for a lighter. But it's in her bag, her Vivienne Westwood bag, which is in the pub. And if she has to wait to use that, it'll mean she won't be able to smoke for about another 38 seconds. So one of the Turks is getting fronted. Any of you's got a light? Despite the request being deliberately delivered, devoid of any politeness, 3 lighters are immediately thrust in her general direction. Melissa selects a black and white checkered one. It's got the word Besiktas emblazoned across it. Not that Melissa gives a fuck really, she just needs a flame now. The backy buzz is still floating around her head as she lashes more than half the ciggy before she's even crossed the threshold of the pub. Jim's lined her up a couple of lager and limes. He didn't want to give her a pint glass. They've all been trying to guess how much Melissa's handbag is worth. They've only been guessing in 3 figures though, so they're all way out. She swigs from one of the glasses as she puts her makeup on. She casually trudged out this morning with yesterday's clothes on, masked by a shitload of Tom Ford perfume. The regulars are all oblivious, too engrossed in the 1210 from Kempston that's beaming out of the telly. Melissa orders more drinks and she's got the taste for it now. The embers of the previous night's fire have been reignited and she is off, well and truly off. Anyone with an eye for drunken detail will know when there's about to be trouble. Not a sixth sense as such, just more the 5 you have got are tuned right in. Melissa's giveaway sign is when her left leg starts to idly swing on the bar stool. All vicious drunks have giveaway signs. The problem being, once you've clocked what they are, it's too late. You're either married to them or in jail. The punters have just learned how to ignore her without really antagonising her. If everyone just refrains from making eye contact, she zones out on her phone for a bit. Facebook, Instagram, the world of online gambling, all that caper. Hey, did yous know that Popty Ping is Welsh for microwave? Nobody responds except Melissa herself. She's howling, throwing her head back exaggeratedly and tapping the bar with her fingers. More ale, Jim. Whatever these old bastards are having, put a bit of life in the place, eh? The old boys have raised the volume on the telly, and Melissa has taken this personally. She storms up to the jukebox, which is fairly and unbelievably up to date. She slots a £2 coin into it and selects one of her favourite tunes. Get Lucky by Daft Punk. She proceeds to dance, get the words wrong and insult the people around her. You're all boring cunts. Look at the kippies. It's directed at no one, but also everyone. Come Ed, let's get a thing. Who's throwing in? The pensioners just stare at her. Jim doesn't really want to take drugs in here, but she's a spender, and no one seems to be that arsed. Her favourite song finishes and is followed by Stardust's Music Sounds Better With You. Melissa's now returned to her seat, her dancing consisting of pointing each finger alternatively to the heavens and nodding her head to the beat. She invariably starts to go frantically through her phone, just as a WhatsApp message comes through. It's her ma. Where are you? Ellie is worried sick. Please come home. A big fuck-off slice of guilt cuts right through the solar plexus. Will it be sharp enough to stop her? No. Right on cue, Dignity by Deacon Blue booms out from the jukebox. Melissa slides a hand inside her yellowy grey Victoria's Secret bra and retrieves a pile of £20 notes. Come Ed, let's fucking have it. She's lost in music. Couple of £20 notes fall to the floor. No one tells her. She goes for a ciggy on the step or sort of half on the entrance, leaning against the door frame. The draft swells the place up, but no one's got the bollocks to ask her to close the door. The 19 bus rolls past along London Road, and a woman Melissa doesn't recognise begins to point and laugh at her. Her reaction is to extend her middle finger and mouth the word twat. When she returns to the bar, it doesn't register that the jukebox has been unplugged. She's noticed a couple of hard-faced women with TJ Hughes bags have sat near her. What the fuck are you two looking at? These don't want to know. They've seen it all before. Melissa snarls over once she spots that 40 quid on the floor, and the dust seems to be settling, and it's all gone quiet over there. That is, until some fella comes charging in, smartly dressed, apart from letting himself down with a rab trucker's cap. He makes a beeline for Melissa, and before she knows anything about it, he's got his hands around her throat and is screaming in her face. No one moves. Get the fuck home now. Look at the state of you. You're a disgrace. Melissa is powerless. She gets dragged out by her hair, but Jim says nothing. He recognises the fella. It's Brian Scanlon. When it's all died down, one of the owl fellas plugs the jukebox back in and puts Rhinestone Cowboy on by Glenn Campbell. One of the hard-faced women orders a couple of Southern Comforts and lemonades. Take your own, Jim. Cheers, love. You wouldn't think she was on Big Brother, would you? No, it wasn't Big Brother, it was the other one. What, the Jungle? I don't know. Back at home, Melissa's mum sits crying. It's raining heavily and a cover version of I'll Stand By You is playing on the radio. She wishes her daughter had never went on that stupid bastard reality TV show. So this next one, I mean, it's quite fucking heavy, this, like, but it's not particularly based on Scousers, it just seems to be that a lot of these people are Scousers. Instagram personalities doing charitable deeds who are utter cunts in real life. Utter cunts who do shit like this. So that guy at the end of that story drags her out, knocks fuck out of her, gets filmed by someone on the bus and goes to jail. Gets a restraining order. While he's in jail, he decides to fuck the restraining order he's going to write to Melissa. These are his letters from jail, of course. My darling Melissa, I know we agreed that I wouldn't contact you, but I just miss you so much. You're on my mind all day, every day. I think about the smell of your hair and how I used to help you comb it when you got out of the bath. Before I go any further, I suppose I better tell you that I'm sorry. I feel shameful for what I did to you. There is no excuse. I can't explain it, but you don't have to be scared of me. I am not a monster. I've been talking to a counsellor here, and apparently all my behaviour is rooted in early life experiences. I get triggered by certain events and respond in the only way I know: violence and aggression. It's what I was taught by my dad. I'm not making excuses or justifying it. It was down to me, and I will take responsibility for my actions. I've padded up with this fella from Manchester. He's a black fella called Victor, and he goes to these NA meetings in there. I learn a lot from him, and he talks a lot of sense. Now, I know you've heard this all before, babe, but I've become mates with a black mank smackhead. There, so you must know that I have changed. I want to be a better person, to start supporting you with your acting and singing. I think I've had a few light bulb moments in here. I want to do this for you because being away from me has made me realise how much I really love you. We are meant to be together, and I will do whatever it takes for us to have a happy life. I know it might be too early for a visit, but I wondered if you could send me a photograph. My little pad is nice and cosy. Victor is surprisingly tidy for a smackhead. I'm just keeping fit and listening to Genesis. All that's missing is your presence. I completely understand if you don't want to. I accept it, but there's no harm in asking, is there? Anyway, I want to tell you how sorry I am. It will never happen again. I can't wait to hold on to you. I have been listening to your old songs. They come on the radio now and again. You always did have the best voice and were by far the best looking. I get really lonely in here, so I can't wait to see you. I look forward to hearing from you. Please don't tell anyone about this letter. Love and peace, your Brian. 3 kisses, 1 heart. 1 week later. Dear Melissa, I've been waiting to hear from you. Maybe you're busy. The days are dragging a bit in here. They'd be much quicker if I was to hear from you, but no pressure. I just ask for some common courtesy. I'm trying to get my head together. Please work with me. My counsellor has been off sick, so I just try and keep myself to myself. I'm not mixing, as I don't trust anyone here, or myself really. The meds make me feel groggy and the paranoia's creeping in. I know you wouldn't do anything to fuel that, Melissa. So that's the one thing I've got to hold on to. You and your loyalty. That's why we're different. We love each other, and I really feel sorry for some of the lads in here, knowing what their girls are up to. I might be getting moved soon, but only to iWing. I don't mind it here, but to be honest, Victor's getting a bit self-righteous. It must be these meetings he goes to, because he's alright really. But he actually suggested that I go to one. What the fuck is he trying to imply there, like? As if I'm fine and I haven't got any issues. I think all that group stuff just makes you worse anyway. I can't wait to hear from you, babe. I bet you're more gorgeous than ever. I've got some bad memories of the last time I saw you. I'm not making excuses for what happened, but it was so sad to see you off your cake that night. Are you still drinking? Because you know your drinking is the cause of all your problems, don't you? I really hope you are getting the help you need, and if you want, I will be by your side because I care. I'll pay for the rehab, whichever one you want to go to. Are you still using the gym membership I got for you? It is important that you look after yourself while I'm in here. I just worry about you, babe. You have put a bit of weight on the last time I saw you, but I know you'll lose it for me. I'm hoping my counsellor will be back in soon. I can feel myself getting edgy. I can't wait to read your letter. Spray some of the Tom Ford gear on it, the one that I bought for you. That will keep me going. Love you, baby. Brian. 1 kiss. 2 weeks later. Melissa, I'm not sure what you're up to. What the fuck do you think's going on here? You're nothing without me. I've been moved. I ended up twatting Victor, the fucking black bastard. He deserved it. I think he's joined ISIS or something. I thought he was blagging that Muslim thing so he could just get better food. But I walked in on him praying the other day, on his knees like a little queg. He was begging me not to smash his face in, but I'm sure Allah will forgive me. I can't get my head around why I'm being punished. See, I probably saved the gaff from getting blown up. And anyway, he's lucky I didn't cut his throat, halal style. I feel like you're messing with me head, Melissa. Why would you do that? It's bad enough you've been doing it for years, but to do it now while I'm in here, you're taking the piss. You've always been fucking horrible, you. Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You're a fucking nomad. And some of the things you've done, I'm onto you. You won't get away with it, I'm telling you. I've got it all on my phone. I'll sell it to the newspapers and I'll use the money to send fucking skips full of pizzas to your fucking ma's house. She's a fat mess. And you'll end up like her if you try and live your life without me. No wonder your dad fucked off. Look at the state of her. I'd be embarrassed to be related to her. She knocks me sick. Your mates as well. Get rid of them. They're all dickheads. Every last one of them. I don't know how you can't see it. You know that Hayley? I've shagged her. Some mate she is, eh? See the fucking company you keep? They don't give a fuck about you. There's only me who's got your best interest at heart. The sooner you get onto this, the better. I know you won't like a lot of what I've said, Melissa, but you know me. I just tell it like it is, because I care. Brian, no kisses, no heart. One day later, to my baby, I think the nurse held my blister pack upside down and I took my night meds in the morning and my morning meds in the night. I can't remember what I wrote in yesterday's letter, but I've sent a couple of visiting orders for you and your mum. It would be great to see you both. I've got to go now. My counselling session is in 10 minutes. See you soon, darling Brian. 3 kisses, 1 heart, and a smiley face. I get disturbed reading that, like people will think, well, if he's writing that and he knows that, he must be like that. I can promise you I'm not. But there are plenty of fucking people who are. So he gets out of prison, and for some reason, well, I think I know why, he decides to go to therapy. And it's all about getting hair back. It's all a blag. It's all there, lip service. So parts of this are based on a true story set in 1990 when the World Cup was on. So the title of this is None Shall Sleep, which is the English translation of Nessun Dorma. Just like when, Brian? How do you mean? Brian appears aggressively uncertain. He's recently entered the world of therapy, of his own accord as well. Maybe he finally did watch The Sopranos. He's recently finished a 14-week sentence, a HMPO course. He told everyone in there that he was on remand for an EncroChat case, but he was in there because he battered his on-off girlfriend, Melissa, outside a pub on London Road. A woman on a passing bus recorded the whole thing on her phone, so even he couldn't worm his way out of that. That feeling you've just described, can we try and explore where it's rooted? I noticed that you used the word helpless, and I'm getting the sense you feel unappreciated, like no matter what you do, it isn't enough for some people. I'm more pissed off really than helpless. And this seems to be a theme, Brian, particularly when you talk about your early life experiences. I don't see the point in looking at the past. This is a current problem. We don't have to, but just keep an open mind about it. I'm not that arsed really whether we do or we don't. Mind you, I've been surrounded by ungrateful bastards all my life. So yeah, go on, fuck it. The therapist takes a deep breath. She meets Brian's eyes for a second. She smiles, but not with her mouth. This is a skill she's perfected over the years. and it seems to disarm Brian. What I'm hearing is that you think you go above and beyond for people, but you feel that nobody does the same for you. Is this accurate, Brian? Please tell me if it's not. Fucking right it is. And you feel that they lack gratitude, and this leaves you feeling resentful towards them all, particularly your mother. Brian visibly tenses up. Look, I don't hate me ma, you know, so you can pack that in now. That's not what I'm suggesting, Brian. But it is clear that you harbour resentment towards people who, in your view, lack gratitude for the effort you make. Mostly your close relatives, and mainly your mother. You're barking up the wrong tree here, girl. I love my ma. She swallows, then absent-mindedly picks up her pen. Just watch what's happening here, Brian. He can't make eye contact, and she's well aware of this. Watch what? She adjusts herself into a more comfortable position on her expensive-looking chair. She's only just realised that she'd been perched on the edge of her seat. Well, it's just that I feel some defensiveness from you right now. Well, you feel wrong then? She inadvertently raises both eyebrows but stops short of face palming. How do you feel about disloyalty, Brian? He fidgets with his Richard Mille watch, closes his eyes and slowly shakes his head. If you're going to try and engineer this time, me ma didn't hug me enough when I was a kid, Ruth, you're fucking miles off. She would have done anything for us. She knows that a change of tack is required, as he's just getting more and more defensive, in the process of denying his defensiveness. Okay, we'll come back to that, but I would like to know how you feel about avoidance. He perks up now, like he's up for this particular topic. Well, that's something I don't do, ever. I can't stand people who do it either. Shithouses. Why swerve things? What's the point? Things don't just disappear, do they? If you're hiding from stuff, they get bigger, don't they? He looks pleased with himself, like he's sparring and has got his opponent on the ropes. Okay, Brian, so how come you didn't answer my question about disloyalty? I just did. You're mad, you. She's not having him. No, you didn't, Brian. You told me that you're not disloyal, but you didn't tell me how you actually feel about it. And the frustration's seeping out of him now, because they've been here before. Listen, girl, I'll pay up until Christmas. I can't see myself coming, me fucking head's battered with all this. Her expression is deep and unforgiving. She's seen this a million times before. A man refusing to go beneath the surface. Brian, were you born like this? Don't start all that maverick shit with me. I know who Dr. Melfi is. I mean, have you always been like this? Like what? Defensive? Cynical? Closed? I know your life story, Brian. He can't fucking believe what he's hearing. Nobody talks to him like this. And there's a part of this he's actually into, but he isn't sure which part. His head and his heart are currently in conflict, and he feels choked, strangled by himself. No, I haven't. No what? No, I wasn't born like this, and no, I haven't always been like this. If you know my story, whatever you mean by that, then you should know. After Brian's sudden but slight drop into a state of vulnerability, she feels a bit guilty and wonders if she's goaded him into this. She chooses to continue anyway. So what happened? Life happened, didn't it? Just fucking people. What people? The shutters are down again. Can you say any more about this, Brian? I don't know. Well, imagine you did know, Brian. What would you say? When she saw some fella on Instagram displaying a similar neuro-linguistic technique, she left a disparaging comment underneath. Yet, here she is. Meow fella. She's chosen to contain her shock at this actually working. She can't believe it, and isn't quite able to hide the fact that her facial expression now says, I've had enough of your shit, but it's because I care about you. Brian hasn't noticed a thing. What about your father, Brian? I've told you about him loads of times. He was hardly there. Be specific. What is it about your dad and disloyalty? He scans the room before he speaks, as if he thinks his dad might be hiding in there somewhere. It's just one of those things, you know. He said a few things, all that, but we just move on, don't we? His energy gives her permission to continue. Go on. Well, my ma sent us out one night, me and my brother. I think I was about 10, our kid was 12. I know exactly when it was because the World Cup was on. England were playing West Germany. He was meant to take us to karate at the Vernon Sangster. That film, The Karate Kid, had been on the telly. Every little bastard and their mate had signed up to classes at the Vernie. My ma got us all the gear and everything, and we ended up swerving it after a couple of weeks, once we realised we couldn't do that crane kick at people's heads. Stay with it, Brian. Your dad. He zoned out a bit, but has noticeably softened. We just mooched about the pubs. Pacific, the Oak, the Springy, the Clock. We found him in the Blue House. She now has a stern expression on her face. Angry, even. That must have been tough, Brian, because it's not a child's job to traipse around public houses looking for their father. No, we weren't asked, it was boss. It was an adventure. All the other kids by ours did it. So, what actually happened when you found him at the Blue House? She's pronounced Blue House as two separate words, and it's fucking pissed Brian off. He doesn't want to laugh, he doesn't want to front it, so he just pretends to cough. He was fucking bladdered. He'd pissed his kecks and everyone was staring at us too when we walked in, like we were busies or something. They're only 10 and 12. We were meant to bring him home, but he must have had a win on the horses. So we got a glass of Coke and a packet of crisp each. That song was on the jukebox, Adamski. Good tune, that. She's getting engrossed in the story and knows she'll have to bring him back to the point very soon. But she doesn't have to, he does it for himself. People were laughing at him, you know. They were laughing at my dad. I couldn't believe it. Behind his back, obviously. Our kid screamed at some fella who lived in the street behind us, Peter. Told him he better stop laughing before he gets battered. And everyone thought this was hilarious. Because my dad's that pissed, he's looking at her one eye down a pool cue. No idea what's going on. Until he half hears Peter make some snide comment. One typical Mary Ellen prick, that Peter. I ended up battering him years later myself. My dad lunged at him, but he was just far too drunk to fight. There was a big commotion in the pub and everyone scarpered. Peter's getting the better of him, but I just froze. It was like something off a film. I was scared. It was the noise of everything. I felt faint and dizzy. My brother's screams brought me back to life because he was trying to pull Peter off me dad. I was just rooted to the spot, like my feet were glued to the floor, and I had heard that fella singing, Seal, wasn't it? He was booming out of the jukebox, and our kid kept calling me over, but I couldn't move, I literally couldn't move. By this point, my dad's getting battered. Peter was on top of him, punching him in the face over and over again. I could see blood everywhere. Even our kid ran away, or so I thought. He'd gone to grab a pool cue, and he ended up hitting Peter over the head with the fat end, then stuck the other end right in his eye. Game over. My dad rolled over and started stamping on Peter's body, and my brother joined in. I just stood there and covered my eyes. I wasn't crying though. Everything quietened down. Seal was still singing. My dad staggered out with us two following behind. When we got to the top of our street, he kissed me brother on the head and he started singing Everton songs. I didn't join in though. When we got to the gate, my dad put his arm around me and crouched down. The smell of piss, ale and blood was making me even more frightened than I already was. But he could see that I wasn't myself. So I think he was just going to ask me if I was okay. But then he leant in and he said to me, "Where the fuck were you when we needed you, you little shithouse coward?" She wants to hug him. A man recently out of jail for battering a woman. His face has changed and he looks like a 4-year-old child. I realise our time's up, Brian, but I haven't got anyone else in till 4 o'clock, and I think it's important we finish. Yeah. Are you okay? I'm alright. Things make a bit more sense to me now. What do you mean? Well, just after hearing what you had to say, I think we've got ourselves some answers. Well, I didn't even know there was a question. What do you mean? Well, it's clear now what you've been doing and how you've been carrying this round with you. What? Look, I'm not one of these fucking, oh my God, my life was so hard people. So what? My dad had a scrap in the pub, so what? I've turned out alright. Brian, you've been coming to see me for over a year. I'm a therapist. You chose to come here. We've been trying to join up dots and unpick your life so we can see why you behave the way you do in certain situations. In most situations, in your case. I already know that. Counsellor in jail told me. I choose violence really because that's all I saw with me dad. Well, yeah, but there's a bit underneath it. What bit? The bit you've just spoken about. The moment as a 9-year-old child getting called a shit house by your own father. Brian wants to laugh again because she's done the same thing with shit house as she's done with blue house. And it just sounds weird. What about it? It's just, I've been called worse than that, well worse. Does it explain to you why you go into most situations on the offensive? Not really, no. You don't think that you've been trying to prove that you are not a shit house and that you're in fact quite the opposite. Brian just stares at nothing in particular. He looks a bit shell-shocked. I'd never even had a fight before that really. But I had loads after it, you know, come to think of it. It's not a coincidence, Brian, but nor was it a conscious thing. You didn't decide to become a fighter overnight. You just got very clear messages from your main caregiver. What was that? Well, what do you think it was? I don't know. Well, if you did know, what would you think it was? She can't believe she's doing that neuro NLT thing again, but it worked last time. Well, that you're a shithouse if you don't fight. She nods and stares. Exactly that. You've got the message that only cowards don't fight. And you've had a belief right down in your core that you're a coward. And you've been carrying this round with you for over 30 years. I'm no fucking shithouse. He stood up now, counting £20 notes out and breathing heavily. He looks like he's fighting tears back. Brian, please sit down so we can conclude the session. We're getting somewhere. Fuck you and fuck your bullshit theories. Here's your money, that's what you're after. You win. I'm paying you to call me a fucking shithouse. What a racket. I wish I'd thought of it myself. Fuck this. And he's off. She's left sitting amongst a pile of notes doing all she can to prevent herself from running after him. Brian gets into his car. The silence is hurting his head, so he puts the radio on. A song fades out and goes straight into an advert for a new film. Sarah wakes up one morning to find her life has been erased. It's now becoming apparent to her that in order to live life forwards, she's going to have to understand it backwards. He turns the radio off, headbutts the steering wheel and punches the windscreen. A couple of teenagers walk past and buzz off him. He jumps out the car and legs them, but they're too quick. He's just stood there now in the middle of this wasteland, leaning on a fence, trying to get his breath back. Then he does something he hasn't done for a long time. He cries, and he slides down the fence. A few other people notice, but they decide to ignore him. What the fucking hell's wrong with me? He shouted in the direction of a bus stop opposite, where a few pensioners are waiting. They turn away, and he walks towards them. They look terrified. Brian sits down in the middle of the road with his back to the traffic. There's nothing wrong with you, Brian. His therapist. She's heard him shouting from the room and followed him out into the street. She starts helping him to his feet, but Brian collapses into her arms. Let's get you off this road, come on. As long as you don't say shit house again. Brian, you're not. I don't think that. I was just using the words you used. I fucking know I'm not. It was just killing me the way you were saying it. It's all one word. Same as the blue house. Shit house, blue house. She looks confused, but is just happy to get him out of harm's way and into the bus stop. The pensioners are still there and they've watched it all unfold. Is he alright, love? He's just been shouting the odds over in that car park there. You don't really see many people shouting the odds these days, do you, Joan? No, you don't, you know. You always used to see it all the time. It was big shouting the odds, particularly in the 70s. Brian's held back over the road by his therapist. The inevitable risk assessment and phone calls, all one word. Brian continues to let his tears flow. The old dears continue to reminisce about the good old days of people shouting the odds. Fucking heavy that, eh? Woo! Gonna have a 15-minute break and I'll come back on with Jeff. Thanks for listening. Thank you. Usually when I do gigs like this, it's with bands, it's at a music night, and I read much shorter, sharper, funnier pieces. Can you imagine going out on a Saturday and having a few Garys and listening to this? You chose to come here. You chose to come here. You knew. So, a couple of years ago, I got an opportunity to go to a writer's residency in Ireland. And the deal was, you live there for 4 weeks and you're integrating the community, tiny little village, and you have to leave a piece of work there and you have to come home with a piece of work based on the nature of Cushendall. And this is what I came out with. It's called Water Flows Uphill. I've been thinking about this since 1992. I couldn't really do anything about it back then because I was only 12. Crossed my mind a lot when I was bored, so I just did my best not to suffer from boredom. I didn't fare much better there, as doing my best just consisted of not really doing my worst, and that led me down a whole host of avenues that I'd rather have not gone down, and I still ended up thinking about the same thing anyway. I don't think it was obsessive, it was just like I was so far in, I didn't or couldn't see how much the whole thing was affecting me. And I've only just come round to seeing it that way. I don't know whether I was unable or unwilling, but there's far too much evidence stacked up in front of me now. Even I couldn't deny how much it's restricted me. For years, I genuinely thought it had no hold over me. I knew it was there, but it just kind of bubbled away. It wasn't prominent enough to affect me everyday life, but I've since learned that wasn't quite the case. I was about 34 when I felt like I was up to facing it, so that would have been 2014, I think. I'd never fancied working really for a living, but I was at the point where I wanted to make better use of my time. I've been on the sick since I was 18, but it was genuine. I've been fucked in the head. I've gotten gradually better over the years, so I got myself a role volunteering at a gallery in town. I didn't have to do anything really, but it got me around people into town, and some of the exhibitions were alright. Some of them were fucking shit. A woman who worked in the cafe by ours, she told me about it, Claire. I think she felt sorry for me. I'd gotten used to people avoiding me, not knowing what to say, but she always spoke to me. I knew her brother Anton. We played football together when we were kids, and I'd heard he'd gone on to be some kind of mad ticket tout or something who made a lot of money. My nephew was in a band and they were making a name for themselves. A couple of years ago they got themselves onto the bill at Glastonbury and it was a good slot on the pyramid stage. Anton had been on everyone's case and anyone associated with them for tickets, passes, drivers, jobs, anything really. He knew people would pay to get in if they could guarantee it. After a whole load of confusion, we all got paid and all his punters got in. I ended up with about $4,000. That summer, during a break in shifts, I walked over to the pierhead. The Mersey was brown. I decided I was going to spend the £4 in one hit. The Mersey was still brown. I made a phone call that day, and that phone call kicked off a series of events that over the next 9 years meant I was now sitting in an Uber at 5:30 on my way to Speke Airport to catch a flight to Belfast. I haven't told anyone what I'm up to. I just tell people I'm off to Belfast to see something the gallery's interested in, a little research thing. I actually went to a book club thing at the gallery a few weeks ago. It was better than I expected. It was a book of short stories by a writer from Belfast, Wendy something or other, but maybe that's influenced me life. I don't know. I'll just say I'm meeting her about a potential reading at the art installation. That's what these people do. No one will question that. In the 9 years this has been getting discussed, this is the first solid trip that's been booked. I don't know what I expected. First, I was going to go to Australia, then Southport, then it was all over as we thought he was dead. Then we found out he'd changed his name, and then I went a bit paranoid thinking I was getting ripped off. No contact for about 2 years. When they got in touch with me out of the blue, I started to think they were on his payroll. It's been mad really, and I've spent too much money to back out now. But they reckon they found him. He resides in a place called Cushendall, off the north coast of Ireland. From the little bit of research I've done, it's fucking tiny and it won't take me long. I just don't know how long I'm going to have to stay or what I'm going to do while I'm there. I haven't thought about what I'll tell the locals, but I'll just see what happens when I get there. The Uber driver keeps calling me by my name. I know it comes up on their app when I make a booking, but it's doing me head in. So I check my app and start calling him by his name. It does the trick, he shuts up. There's a guest of year thing on the radio. A song by someone called John Cicada, Just Another Day, plays on a parochial station, hosted by someone pretending to be Scouse. It's 1992. A wave of reality seeps into my body. What the fuck am I doing, man? Where's Cushendall? 27 quid from Wavertree to Speke. It was more than me flight to Belfast. At the airport, I listened to a podcast for the first time ever. Claire from the cafe said I might like it. It's the second time really. I saw one on YouTube not long ago. A lad I know was on it. Ever since I watch it, similar ones keep popping up on my feed. It's all lads from Liverpool telling lies about things they've done and how hard they are and how they've changed now, and how they've taken an interest in spirituality and charity. I know these people, they haven't fucking changed one bit. Especially the one I watched, a lad called Brian. He seems to think that buying thousands of pounds worth of fireworks for the local kids on Bommy Night makes amends for the shit he's put people through. I last saw him at a funeral about 3 months ago, and he's recently become a dad to a little girl. I heard him in full flow at the funeral. Well, I reckon I can handle anything, apart from if she brings a packy home. See what I mean? The podcast's alright though. It's an Irish woman talking about how growing up in poverty affected her. Although I enjoyed it, I feel quite angry after listening to it. After a bit of a standoff about whether I'm going to Cushendall or Cushendun, I learned that I'm 3 buses from Cushendall. The first bus is to a place called the Europa, the main station in Belfast by the looks of it. Everyone on it's just got off the same flight as me. The next bus goes to Ballymena, no waiting around. When I get there, I realise I've missed the Cushendall bus, so I have to wait 90 minutes for the next one. It's all very uneventful, it just looks like Bootle. It's raining heavily, so I stay on an uncomfortably upwardly curved plastic seat at my designated stop. It's totally deserted apart from a fella in a suit with a rucksack who decides, of course, to sit by me and tell me how he lost weight. Just cut out 10% of what you're eating. If you have 10 slices of toast, just eat 9. That way, you're not fully denying yourself. You won't crave and you'll lose 10% of your body weight. It's the only thing that works. I just do that weird sympathetic smile thing where your lips turn inwards in the middle but upwards at the edges. I also took my head into my neck like the little weirdo that I am. He persists by telling me he once tried to save a sheep who had escaped from a farm at a place called Tor Head. He carried it back, but it was dead anyway. I don't know what kind of face to pull at that. The bus to a place called Ballycastle pulls in, and he fucks off, thankfully. I've still got 70 minutes to wait. It might be enough time to think of a feasible story as to why I'm turning up in Cushendall. I really haven't thought this through, but I do know my intentions have changed over the years. I haven't come here with any sinister motives. I can't really tell anyone why I'm here because they're bound to think I have got sinister motives. I'm booked into a B&B somewhere for 2 weeks with an option to extend. My loose plan is just mooch about for a week, get to know people, go to cafes, pubs, shops and library, blend in. I could just carry on that gallery lie and say I'm researching a few things. I read articles on my phone until the bus turns up. One of them claims that John Major was more left-wing than Keir Starmer. I have no idea. I only know John Major as the grey fella off Spitting Image. When the bus finally arrives, I'm the only one here waiting for it. I show the driver my ticket and he asks me if I'm going to the tower. I don't know what he's on about. Yeah, Cushendall. You don't look like an artist, son. I just nod and lash my bag across 2 seats behind him. No one here knows I volunteer at a gallery. And what's the tower? The paranoia creeps back in now. It might be nothing. The nerves just because I'm getting physically closer. What if I find him straight away on day one? Even I haven't prepared for that. I feel confident I can wing it though. A few serious deep breaths on the bus, then a few more. When I open my eyes, the scenery takes a second to register. Fuck me. I'm pretty sure there are no bus routes like this back home. I've been blessed with a clear sunny day as well, and it stops me thinking for a bit. The driver clocks me looking like an idiotic city boy. You never tire of this view, son. Never. This is the bit between Waterford Village and Glenarith. Cushendall's just a bit further. There's a lot of history to this road if you can be bothered looking it up. Sound, mate. Thanks. I just continue to look out the window, hypnotised by what I'm seeing. My emotional state is probably augmenting what I'm seeing. And for the first time since I booked my flights, it feels like everything's going to be okay. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not doing anything wrong, am I? Whereabouts is it you want, son? I don't know, I'll find the name of the Airbnb now. I'll drop you by the petrol station. Just turn back on yourself, everything's there. And here I am, staring at some washing machines outside the garage. I put the B&B name into Google Maps. It's 80 yards away. There it is. First things first, there's a small library opposite the garage, which is closed. Hopefully not permanently. I can see some kind of castle thing a bit further down the road. The heavens have opened, so I throw a jog onto the B&B. An older woman with grey hair greets me. It smells of vanilla. I notice a few of those reed diffusers dotted around the place. The ones I buy never seem to work. Hello there, you're a bit early. Are you hungry? I can do you a small fry. We don't usually get visitors staying for as long as you. There's your key. It's the first room at the top of the stairs, so just let us know if you need anything. I'm alright, love, I'm alright for food. I'm just going to put my bag in and go out. No bother. What is it that brings you here? This isn't your usual holiday destination. This time of year anyway. A nosy fucker. Not what I need. But I don't want to appear aloof or mysterious. Oh, just a bit of me time. I've panicked and let myself down here. Me time. I'll be talking self-care next. Well, whatever you're here for, everything's in walking distance. Chinese chippy across the road there, duck shop on the corner, cafe and cash point next door to his. The spa's round there, and the butcher's is a wee bit further down on the side. The boy there, Zippy, he looks after the tower as well. I want to ask about this tower, but I also want to get to my room immediately. I'll figure it out, love, cheers. Scouser, are you? Yeah, so at least you won't struggle with my accent here. I'm practically Irish anyway. My daughter lives there, Kensington. Oh yeah, I know it, yeah, it's by mine. She loves it there, says the people are great. Yeah, they are, yeah. All right, love, I'll see you later anyway. I've booked this in my real name. What if I know her daughter? I hope she doesn't ask about me. I empty my bag and lash my clothes on the hangers in the single wardrobe. I clock myself in the mirrored door as it closes. I don't look my age really. Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. The same way I often have shitloads of faith and I'll often have none whatsoever. I'm not religious, it's just, my ma was, but it was more fear than faith really. You can't do this, you can't do that. Seemed to always get limiting my life. That's what it was about. That's not me though anymore. Part of the reason I'm here, I've got to move on. I don't expect to feel any different straight away. It's just a thing I feel compelled to do. Maybe even guided to do. The people I've been in contact with don't know why I'm here. I did go to tell them during that very first phone call in 2014, but they stopped me. They didn't want to know. I don't know how the legalities of this world work, but I imagine that they don't want themselves embroiled in anything. So I gave them a name. They said it cost 700 quid for them to make initial inquiries and that there was no guarantee, but they usually found whoever it was they were looking for. My initial meeting with them was quite comical really. I don't know what I was expecting, but I was surprised when a woman in her early 20s turned up to a cafe on Broad Green Road. She's from down south, I don't know where, they all sound the same to me. She asked a few questions, put 4 sugars in a coffee, didn't write anything down, took 7 ton cash off me and got off. All I had was a phone number I'd been given by my mate Eddie. He told me not to ask him anything about it since I got in touch with them. They told me never to call the number again, so I just sat there waiting for the cheese and bacon toastie, feeling like a right cunt. They'd seen me coming, easiest 700 quid they'd ever make. Weirdly, they came good. Over the best part of 10 years, like, but they did it. I'm still convinced they fleeced me for that trip to Australia though. Either way, here I am, in Cushendore, on the street facing a pub called Johnny Joe's, which is closed. The tower the bus driver mentioned is a bit further down on the street. I've no idea what it is or why it's there. Maybe it's a museum of some kind, but I'm sure I'll find out soon. I head towards the junction, literally, but maybe also metaphorically. There's a little bakery there and a chippy and a shop that says Duck's Treats above the door. The butcher's that woman was on about is right opposite the tower, so I'll just stroll in. Alright pal, what can I get you? I haven't really come in to buy anything, but I feel obliged now, so I look round. Spot milk in the fridge. Just a small milk, please. A proper panic buy. Like Everton signing a striker who scored 11 goals in 72 games, but is available on a free with an hour to go until the transfer window closes. Scouser? Yeah, mate. What brings you to Cushendore? Another nosy cunt. Nothing really, mate, just a break. Which is better than a bit of me time, at least. He clocks me getting me card out of me wallet. Our broadband's off, so it's cash only today, pal. I've got no cash on me, so I'll have to leave it, mate. Cash point there, just next to the cafe. It's free as well. I'll come back later, mate. It's literally just there. A pushy, nosy cunt. I'll call in on me way back, mate. I'm gonna go to the cafe anyway. Righto. Alright. See you later then. Yeah, you will, yeah. I've got this milk here. I'll put it in the fridge. Okay. I exit and get a few photos of the tower on my phone. This zippy character from the butcher's comes to the step of his shop and starts watching me. It's just a bit mad the way this tower's just there in the middle of everything. Do you want me to get one with you in it as well? Nah, you're alright, mate. He's keen, this fucker. I hope they're not all like that here. It seems a quiet enough place. Do you know anything about the tower? I didn't even know it existed until about an hour ago, mate. How long are you here for? There's someone in it at the minute, but they're leaving in a few days. I could take you in for a look round if you want. Yeah, alright, mate. I'll see what I'm up to, but I'll just go to the shop and I'll see you later. Well, I'll see you soon anyway, because you're coming back for this milk, aren't you? I'm not not sure whether he's taking the piss, this fella, but either way, he's fucking bugging me. I get a soda bread filled with sausage and bacon at Cafe Cova. It's lovely. The cafe's busy, full of all older women, friendly and smiley. The girl who works there asks me if I'm living in the tower, before she tells me that she used to live in Liverpool herself and that her daughter still lives there, in Speke. I might go back for the milk just to ask about the tower. I'll have to have a walk down the library to use the Wi-Fi anyway. It feels a bit cheeky staying here after I've finished eating. There doesn't seem to be much coverage in the village, so I'll take my plate back to the counter. Oh, you're well trained. I'll do me bit, love, but thanks for that. It done the job. I'll probably be in tomorrow and the day after. I'm going to head down there, the library, see if it's open. It's closed today and it doesn't open again till tomorrow. Why don't you take a wander down the beach while it's dry? We're set for rain tomorrow, it's only there. Which way? Turn left out of here and just keep walking. You'll see the golf club and a fork in the road. Just stick to the right as you pass it. You can't miss it. Thanks, love. I'll see you in the morning then. She was sound there. Lovely little place that. I'll go back tomorrow. There's only a couple of more buildings this way before I get to a lane with a few houses and the golf course up the side. There's a road leading off up a hill, so I swing it right into the bay. I must remember to find what's up that hill. I sit on the first bench I come to. There are a few little kids with their parents messing about in a little play park to my left. The sound of them playing is very comforting. I've got my headphones and I plan to listen to music, but I decide against it. The sea looks like a proper sea, friendly with an ability to be hostile. That might be a reflection of the village. Don't fuck about here and I'll be alright. I'm taking it as a message. I'm going to go back and get that milk before I write this zippy prick off completely. He's probably sound, it's just me being edgy. But wouldn't anyone be in my situation? A woman walking her dog stops to talk. She tells me that you can see Scotland from here on a clear day, from a little bit further down the coast. She's got an absolutely tremendous Arc'teryx jacket on. I'm so preoccupied admiring it, I miss part of what she's telling me, and I think she's noticed, and the guilt propels me to invite her to sit down on the bench. Yeah, I will, as long as he's happy running about there. He's in his element, love, look at him. A golden retriever legs it round the sandy bit and back up towards the path. He must want to know who I am. Come on now, come here, Roy, settle down, we're having a wee break. Your dog's called Roy. Is he named after Roy Keane? Oh, no, he's named after my father. He was a dog breeder. Roy's one of a long line. Oh, sound. So this shit power from round by ours called Roy. Although your dog probably likes better verses than him. It wouldn't surprise me. Now go on, Roy, go and play while I talk to this nice man about the Glens. If you're good, we'll go and see if Zippy's got anything for you. He's well trained, isn't he, girl? He better have be. The hours I've put into him. So what are you doing here? You don't look like a local. Just a break, love. Somewhere different. Cheap flights on it. Have you been here before? Do you know anyone here? No, nothing. Are you living in the tower? No, but I feel like I should be. A few people have mentioned it. Well, you're right in the heart of the Glens here. We're sat right between Lorradean Mountain and what's known as the Sea of Moyle. Take it in. There's plenty more you'll have to see while you're here. The waterfalls up at Gleneriff for starters. Just don't be getting yourself lost in the forest. Oh, hell, it's a bit better than Everton Valley up here, like, I'll give it that. Is that where you're from? My daughter went to uni in Liverpool. She used to live in Everton. A small world, eh? So fortunate we've got all this here. There's so much history. You should see a man called Fergal. He'll fill you in properly. How do I find him then? I'll let him know you're here. He's a lovely man. How will he know who I am though? He'll find you, don't worry. You sneeze in Cushendall. Someone in Cushendun says bless you. Roy, come here, boy. Oh, look at the state of him now. He's covered in mud. I'm going to have to get back. I'll see you about. Okay, love, thanks. And just one more thing. What, love? You might want to lose the tracksuit. What? How come? You look like a tennis coach. And What's so bad about that? She leans in a bit to check if anyone's about and says, it's a bit Protestant, isn't it? She puts her dog on its lead and bids me farewell. And even if that's a lady's jacket, I'd wear it. I have to ask where she got it from next time I see her. I didn't think about the whole thing here, sectarianism and that. It could work in my favour somehow. But I've only brought Sakis with me. I might just say I'm a Buddhist or something. It's fucking gorgeous round here though. I'd like to get down to that waterfall she mentioned, maybe even have a swim. I'm trying not to think about why I'm here. At the same time realising I could be within a few yards of him at any given moment. I saw a couple of pubs that looked open back near the butcher's, but it's a bit early for a drink and I wouldn't want to attract any unnecessary attention by sitting there with an orange juice. It doesn't seem like that kind of place. The first one I get to is called the Central Bar. It looks fairly nondescript from outside, but when you get in, I can instantly see that it's got a bit more to it. Roaring fireplace crackling away, couple of little snugs or alcoves or whatever you call them, loads of oak panelling. One fella just lashing logs onto the flames and nursing a quarter of a pint. He throws one syllable at me. I can only assume it's a greeting, so I just nod. I like it here. I'll just have an orange juice please, love. 2 in a day, that's a first. I look over my shoulder and see a fella based in a previously unseen corner. He looks mad. He's on his own. He raises his orange juice, slides a stool out with his foot and implores me to sit down. I give him a thumbs up and tap me card, then watch the barmaid shake her head and smile at the same time. I don't know how to take that, but against all my instincts, I join my fellow orange juice drinking friend. What a life, man! He's American. Yeah, it's alright, mate, yeah. What you... I'm not doing the accent. What are you doing here? I just want a bit of peace and quiet, mate. Wow, I just love British culture so much. You guys are so laid back. The fella who's now got fuck all left in his glass snarls over. We're not British, we're Irish. You sure are, buddy. Hey Claire, get this man a Guinness, please. He looks thirsty. I can't stand the stuff, it's disgusting. A bitter'll do. Bitter it is, my friend. I think I'll drink this quick and come back when it's a bit busier. Blend in them when there's a bit of footy on or music on or something. Can't be arsed with this fella. He's got a real air of pussy off The Sopranos. And we all know what happened to him. I think I'm gonna really have to trust my instincts on this trip. Are you not drinking? The next one's on me. No mate, it's too early for me. Sure thing, buddy. He winks at me. Bit fucking weird. What about you? He closes his eyes and breathes in. He pinches the ties of his chinos and pulls them towards his waist, then leans in a bit, fucking unnerving me. Truth be told, dude, I haven't taken a drink for 26 years. To the day. I was working for a production company way back and was searching Europe for locations. This is where I ended up. I got fucking wasted, pissed me pants, tried to fight a man in this very pub, brought drug dealers here, blew all my expenses and maxed out the company credit cards. I was fucked. A few locals wanted to kill me, but a couple of guys named Sean and Paddy saved me. They took me to an AA meeting that night and I haven't touched a drop since. So every few years I come back to see my friends who saved my life. I love it here. It's my spiritual home. My heartbeat speeds up a bit, and this is a familiar feeling. I recognise it from when I used to try to evade boredom. A strange phenomenon, really. Time slows down, like what I imagine addiction to be like. You know what you're about to do is a bit fucking daft, but you just do it anyway. It's now or never. Listen, mate. You must have been put in my path, cause I am here for peace and quiet, but it's the ale. I'm fucking finished with it. I've had enough. I've come to Cushendall to get sober. I fucking knew it, you know. I knew it, buddy. We can sniff each other out. I believe you've been put in my path. It's the only explanation. Something's guided you. As mad as all this sounds, it's the fucking perfect cover story. No one's going to question it. Once I meet these fellas, Sean and Patrick, I'll be accepted. This is foolproof. It means I won't have to have a bevy like, but I'm here, aren't I? And it'll open doors for me, and it'll stop people wondering why I've just turned up out the blue. I'll just have the odd pint here and there when no one's looking. Probably get to teach me how to do that anyway in these meetings. I'll just go along with it. It must be fate, pal. I feel better for sharing that, eh? It's good to talk. I'm going to go back and sit in my Airbnb for a bit before I decide what to do, eh? This sobriety lark, eh, fella? I don't want to overdo it, but I've got to know the language if I'm going to pull this off. One day at a time, buddy. Listen, there's a meeting tomorrow. It starts at 8, but we can grab a coffee beforehand. And look, I've been where you are. There's a way out of this. He puts his hand on my shoulder and stares into my eyes for what is an uncomfortably long time. I put my head down because I'm fucking squirming. He mistakes it for fear though, luckily enough. I think I just wanted to buy a bit of time. I didn't want to sign up to a fucking recovery programme. That dickhead power I mentioned earlier, he's gone sober and you see videos of him and all his mates jumping in water and fucking riding bikes and shit. I want to end up like him. Thanks, mate. I'm just staying over the road there at the Airbnb, but I'm just going to go and have a snooze. No problem. I'll meet you tomorrow at 7. Get your head on that pillow tonight without having had a drink, and we do the same again tomorrow. Hey, mate, I'll fucking never drink again. Slow down, buddy. You'll change your mind several times between now and tomorrow. Motivation levels go up and down, but the world's best athletes will tell you that. What they'll also tell you is that commitment levels have to remain high. So I'll see you at 7 tomorrow. All right, mate. As I leave, he raises his glass of orange. To Cushendall. I finally get to lay on my bed. I've only been here a few hours, and it's been eventful. I've come to find someone I've thought about for over 30 years. It's not even tea time, and I think I'm about to become a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I've seen meetings on Corrie. Peter Barlow used to go. It'll be great if they're like that. I study the one grainy image I've got of him on my phone. I've hardly looked at it since they emailed it over. I'm surprised I haven't been sent a bill for that. I think it's a scan from an old newspaper. Fuck knows how they got hold of it. But I'd recognise him if I seen him, I think. I sleep right through. A good 8 hours, which is more than enough for me. No idea what I'm going to do today, but sometimes the best plan is to not have one at all. I've got to eat. I've got to get showered. I'm going to head over to that cafe again. The place I'm staying seems to be unstaffed this morning. Maybe they don't do routine here, but I need it. Until it bores me and I deviate towards chaos, and that gets too much for me, and then I crave routine again. Can't see there being much chaos here anyway. I looked at the AA thing up online tonight, and their version of sobriety seems to be contingent on some belief in some higher power, and that they define sobriety as complete abstinence. Fuck. I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but that means I can't even have a shandy, or at least be seen with one. I'm hoping that my reason for being here won't arouse suspicion. It would if I told them what I was really here for. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I passed the butcher's on the way to the cafe. Closed, but Zippy unloads trays of meat from a van anyway. I've got your milk here, pal. I'm a bit more relaxed today, so I just smile and say I'll be over after I've had a scran. I'll be making a point of drawing some cash out just to get this weirdo off my case. He doesn't seem to be able to take social cues, so he just carries on talking. You sleep well, pal? All right, mate, yeah. Good, good. I notice a couple of other people in the shop. Probably Bungle and George, both kitted out on those daft overalls and hats. One holding a meat cleaver, so that's my sign to leave. I'll probably end there, because I want you to buy my new book, basically.
just going to do a few more questions before the end. Yeah, I think that might have been your first story that I've heard that isn't set in Liverpool, possibly, something like that. So would you like to tell us about the development of that story, like where it came from?
Just that residency I went to came about via, in the 90s, Bill Drummond from the KLF bought a tower in the north of Ireland, just because that's the sort of thing he does, and then he realised it was listed and he couldn't do anything with it. I don't know, probably going to burn it or something. And so what he did was decided to, for 12 months at a time, give it to an arts organisation, and then they dish it out a month at a time. And my mate had been, and I asked her, I want to go there, how do it? And she put me in touch with someone. And he said, we've got a space in November, but no one goes in November because it's freezing. I thought, I'll go. I mean, buy some Long Johns and TJs, I'll go. And that was it really. I spent a week mooching about, trying not to arouse suspicion. And spent another week inviting all my mates over. And spent another week writing. And when I wrote it, I realised that it was like the first thing I wrote that wasn't in real time, and it was the first thing I wrote that wasn't in Liverpool. And I thought, this is an alright short story, but there's more to this. And since kind of pitched it out, and some people who know a bit more than me have decided this is a telly thing, this, but it is going in the book, that short story. But I'm obsessed about making it a TV series. And I'm hoping by reading it to you tonight, you're all thinking, what the fuck happens there? And if you are, come and tell me, because then I'll know it's a telly thing. It's definitely a telly thing. So it was just that, like 4-month trip in Ireland, that was fucking amazing. I've been back 3 times, met all them people in there are real. I know Sean and Paddy were just so stereotypical, but they're real people. They took me in their homes and that, they're fucking sound. So Monday we start, I'm gonna like co-write with somebody for the first time. It's like just a writer I respect, and he's like, I'll show you how to do this. So we'll see what happens. But he's one of them who just doesn't say anything until his stuff's on the screen. I'm a fucking idiot who goes, I'm writing this thing for telly. It never gets made. You know what I mean? We'll see.
So in that last story, you actually referenced yourself, didn't you? You were like, oh yeah, there's power, do you know what I mean? Or, do you find like the persona of Roy helps you deal with you know, with the themes that you deal with?
Not really, no, because I am Roy. And part of the thing is, because some people are like, well, are you going on as Roy or Pete? Roy was just I'll tell you what it was, back in 2010, first thing I ever got published, it was going to print, and the fella said to me, oh, you know, what name do you want on it? And I hadn't thought about it. I went, what do you mean? He said, oh, some people don't use their own name, and this is in 2000, might have been like 2009, right? So I'd only just stopped drinking. I owed a lot of people money, and I thought, I can't put my real name in that book, because people, I don't know who the fuck are all these drug dealers expecting to read this book or something. But I just went, what do you want to go in as? I went, Roy, just literally that was it, and it stuck, and yeah, that's it, but it's fucking me. Every character I write about is me. They've all got grains of truth in them that is fucking me. All of them, even the cunts, like, there's a bit of cunt in all of us, I think. Yeah. So, I mean, I just wanted to say, like, thanks for coming, because fucking Saturday night, stood up, roasting, listening to someone fucking read. It's hard selling it, but it is all hard. So I wanted to say thank you, and I'll hand you over to Jeff. But if you've got any questions, we've probably got about 2 or 3 minutes. I'll take a couple if I can.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. Roy is going to be selling Algorithm Party, which is his debut collection of short stories, upstairs, cash and card, so no excuses to anyone. If you'd like to go up Yeah, that's fine. Would anybody like to ask Roy a question? No, we got one over there. Yeah.
I was just going to say, you're really not funny.
Sometimes people book me to do comedy stuff, I'm like, I'm not funny. Or if I try to be, I got commissioned to write a comedy and struggled like fuck because I had to be funny. I thought, oh, I can't do it.
It's dark.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody?
I actually opened up for you at Lovely Words over a year ago, and I bought a copy at Algorithm Party. I am a poet, but I'm looking to do what you're kind of doing. Any advice for someone wanting to start off? Who also, I come from Anfield, by the way, and I used to live in Walton, and I understand what you say about people in them areas. If you're creative, you are weird. So, like, what advice would you give for someone like me wanting to follow down the same route as you?
All I did, like, first of all, you've got to just do it. Like, because I had plans for years, and I found that, like, you've got to just fucking do it and get yourself around people, little collectives and nights that meet people. They'll open a door for you. You go there, they'll tell you about someone else. That's it, really. I'm the wrong person to ask for advice because I don't really go on all the fucking courses and all that. I just write. Yeah, I just write. Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
I think we're going to end on that note. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to put some tunes on. If you'd like a water or some drinks, thanks so much. Have a nice night.
This is angry. We see chimneys belching out smoke. We see cars belching out smoke. We see people belching. And who's responsible for all this pollution? We are.